I won't spoil it. I would definitely recommend watching it.
I think I know what happened, to be honest. I think I kind of figured out what happened.
Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys.
I just came back from watching Oppenheimer. What? What's that? Oh, have you
Oh,
seen
it's just
it?
I mean, you had the choice of Barbie or Oppenheimer, right?
I did.
And
Yeah, go on.
well, I mean, Oppenheimer's for obviously like writers and creatives. Barbie's for the general population. It's like all the little like I don't know, yeah, peasants and stuff are going off to there, and then all you writers are off at Oppenheim going, "Oh, what a great movie!" I bet it was terrible.
Barbie, right? I think generally, I think there will be a divide in demographic. I think you're right. I think Oppenheimer will be viewed by more serious film goers and maybe have, on average, a more intellectual audience. Yes,
Oh, so
I
now you
still
can
want to
tell we're
go.
not
I
into.
still want to go see Barbie, and I think Oppenheimer. I won't give it. I won't spoil it. I would definitely recommend watching it.
I think I know what happened, to be honest. I think I kind of figured out what happened, considering I'm 50 years like past it. Do you know what I mean?
And this is the thing. I think I quite like films that are balanced. I like entertain. I like serious films. Don't get me wrong. So Christopher Nolan is a serious director. Yeah, he's the kind of like let's give him an Oscar director. Yeah. So and it was a very serious film. Very so. I think Christopher Nolan was best with Dark Knight. Because it
Yeah,
was
yeah,
Dark Knight is one of those films which it's it's serious and it's got some really serious themes about the world we live in and what makes a man dark and light and so on and anarchy versus order and all these great philosophical themes. But it's also an entertaining watch at the same time.
yeah.
I loved it from start to finish. I was totally immersed in Dark Knight. And it's one of the best films I've ever seen because it gets that balance between hitting you cerebrally and intellectually and just entertaining you and making you feel great and happy and sad and everything. Oppenheimer was very cerebral. It was just and I think Nolan's done this too many times. For me, I mean, my friend loved it.
I
But for
I
me, for
think
me, a film has to be entertaining in some way. And it went, don't get me wrong, Oppenheimer was, but I,
yeah.
I think it was very heavy on the dialogue and it was almost like reading a, a history book rather than watching an entertaining movie at times.
Well, I think
Before you
that's
come in, what I will say, but it was at times exceptional. Go on, sir.
yeah. I mean, I do think that's what a lot of the reviews have said. Like
Right.
it's a really exceptional film, but it's like give it a break sort of thing. Like
Right.
so,
Yeah.
because I
I think
mean, like nobody wants to sit there for it's like
it
do you
was
know when
3 hours, Sam. It was three
yeah, I know,
hours of
yeah.
people being like, "Oh my god, we've just created a weapon that could take out the world." Like, and don't get me wrong, that's a serious issue, and I'm so glad someone's made a film about that. But for 3 hours, it's like, "Oh my god, we've
Yeah,
created like the atom bomb." Oh my god, like Jesus
yeah.
Christ, like just. I think there was one moment of maybe two or three moments of comic relief in the whole 3 hours. And when I say comic relief, I mean like a little second or two in which I went, and for me, that's not enough. Like I
That
get
was
that.
when the bomb went off. Yeah,
Oh yeah, that
yeah, yeah.
it was a
Yes.
really interesting story because the guy was very traumatized after what he created. Like, and I think you would be. And it was very profound at times. So he's like, he comes back after creating the bomb. He comes back, and all these Americans are just applauding him and go, "Yeah, America, yeah." And he goes, "Yeah, well, the Nazis sure ain't gonna like this." And then they're like, "Yeah, yeah." And then you can see on his face, he's just like he's preoccupied by the death and destruction he's unleashed on the Japanese. They're all celebrating and cheering, and all he's thinking is of the innocent Japanese people who are obliterated by the bomb. And it goes, and it's this amazing scene where it goes back and forth, and he comes back to reality. And someone's like, "Yeah, what about the Russians?" And he's like, "Yeah, the Russians aren't going to like it either." And again, the Americans go, "Yeah," and then again, he's in his mind, he's just seeing more obliteration, and how the people in front of him could just as easily be obliterated, and they start to obliterate, and it's an amazing scene, and little moments like that was like, it's like, oh, this is a great filmmaker but a great film by a great filmmaker. But again, for me, it was just a little too long and a little too serious. You're not going to make a film about the bomb and make it a comedy, but mind you, Stanley
You
Kubrick
could,
with
yeah.
Doctor Strange, like, mind you,
that'd be something I'd want to watch, you know. So it's like he accidentally creates a bomb and he goes, whoops, drops it on Japan. You know?
Yeah.
That'd be great. Yeah.
Oh dear, just walks away, like, just do a Shaggy. It wasn't me.
Christopher Nolan tries to make you think, doesn't he? And it's like, it's like, what I've realized with people is people don't like to think a lot of the time. It's like the whole point of society.
When you go and watch a film, you know, you've worked hard all week, you've been stressed out. You go and watch a film on the weekend, typically, right? And to then just go and think more about the destruction of cities and people and the world and stuff. I don't know, like, we need those films, right, to shed light on these serious issues. But you know, the part of me thinks maybe I should have just gone and watched Barbie.
Like, a film's supposed to take you away from problems, right? Most of the time.
Well, there's a big debate about this, right? What is the primary purpose of film? Is it to help you escape, or is it to mirror the society in which you're living in? I think there's a place for both of those terms. And this is why Oppenheimer by Barbie is the big 2023 battle of cinema, right? One is epitome of escapism and fantasy, and the other's very realistic and gritty and dark and mirrors society. I don't feel like he needed to unload as much as he did. It's like, it's very obvious to me that he'd spent a lot of time researching this film, and rightly so. If you're gonna make a film, it's got to be well researched, okay? You can't just, but
you can make it up the whole way.
I feel like I feel like he could have done as much with less. A 3-hour film, I think he could have turned it into a 2-hour film, and it could have been as good, if not better. I don't get this obsession with long films, you know. I mean, every once in a while, fine. So Lord of the Rings: Return of the King was like a 3-hour film, and that was one of my favorite films of all time. But you know, Lord of the Rings: Return of the King also had, you know, people fighting trolls and elephants and, like, I don't know, like dead people and awesome stuff. It's really interesting because the communism was a big thing in the Oppenheimer film. It was that whole era when the US and the West were starting to become really kind of paranoid about it. Yeah. And it's it overshadows the entire film. And, you know, this guy was, you know, almost like prosecuted for being a communist. They're like, you know, they tried to do him for being a communist. This is the thing. So I'm not a communist, but the idea that you could start imprisoning people for holding that view, you know, I think even you said it, because if I'm not you're definitely not a communist. but I think you were the one who said it actually to me. I think you said it's actually got a place in society as for being there as a criticism of capitalism, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like I think you need both. Like there's a level, like, I mean, if you look at some of the best countries in the world to live, they have socialist policies, right? They have things like free healthcare and things like that.